Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. I'll call the meeting to order, please. And we will begin this council meeting by acknowledging that the County of Prince Edward is on traditional land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. We thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. And we recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection to the land. Today, the County of Prince Edward is still home to many First Nations and Métis people, and we're grateful to have an opportunity to meet here, work, and continue stewardship of the land. On behalf of the members of council and our municipal staff, I'd like to welcome the members of the public in attendance this evening, as well as those at home watching this meeting of council. The meeting is being live streamed, and any participation in the meeting proceedings will become part of the public record. The agenda package was published last week, enabling members of the public and council to become familiar with the material we'll be discussing this evening. It's available at the county's website at thecounty.ca. Members of the public who wish to provide comments under the section of the agenda titled Comments from the Audience may do so by contacting the clerk's office at clerks@pecounty.on.ca and registering to speak by noon on the Monday before the scheduled council meeting. The clerk's office can provide additional information. This evening, I'll invite members of the audience to make a comment after we hear from pre-registrants. A reminder that if you participate, your name will be included in the council minutes and form part of the public record and will be posted to the county's website. I want to remind everyone that we may differ in opinions, but it is important to remain respectful of each other. For those in attendance, please refrain from clapping or cheering in the council chambers as it detracts from the discussion and is in contravention of the procedural bylaw. The recording from this meeting will be published on the county's website immediately and can be viewed by selecting streaming at the bottom right of the county's homepage at thecounty.ca. And finally, the bylaws listed on this agenda provide the force of law to decisions of council. So we'll move to item 3 on the agenda, disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. Is there anything anyone has to declare? Seeing none, we'll move to confirmation of the agenda. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Harrison and Councillor Prinzen.
This is a Harrison-Prinzen motion that the agenda for the council meeting of October the 7th, 2025 be confirmed.
Thank you. Those in favor? And that carries. We have item 5, closed session meeting. We have none. No report coming from closed session meeting. We move to announcements. Item 7, Councillor Hirsch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think by now everyone is aware that Myrna Wood died last week. Myrna was a stalwart advocate for many, many causes, environmental and human rights and many other things. I met Myrna probably in 2015 out of the Bird Observatory, and she was a person of few words. So I think I was probably talking about some stupid thing that government was doing somewhere, and all Myrna's reaction was, well, what are you going to do about it? Because that's the kind of person she was. What are you going to do about it? And she did lots of things about everything. So just to note for council and the public's benefit, there is going to be a celebration of life for Myrna at the Waring House, November the 3rd from 4 to 7, put on by Pecton and SSJI. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Anybody? We're joined by Councillor Engels. Okay, nobody there. Okay, I've got a few things to mention. Oh, Councillor Engelstorfer, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just very quickly, just a reminder that Pumpkin Fest is Saturday, October 18th. You wouldn't want to forget about that one. There will be lots of stuff going on in Wellington, so we're inviting everybody to Wellington to enjoy the day.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Nope. Okay, I've got a couple of things to mention. First of all, a letter that I received from the Municipal Law Enforcement Officers Association of Ontario concerning, I'll read the letter, it's not that long. The Municipal Law Enforcement Officers Association is a non-profit professional association representing municipal law enforcement officers throughout the province of Ontario. It was established in 1979 and incorporated in 1985 as a nonprofit organization. Currently, the association represents over 2,400 municipal law enforcement officers from small rural communities to large urban centers. On July 21st, 1997, Bill P-93 received royal assent, giving the Municipal Law Enforcement Officers Association the authority to grant certification to its members and prescribe the requirements for certification. All recipients of this designation have successfully met the education, job responsibility, and membership requirements as determined by the association. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Municipal Law Enforcement Officers Association of Ontario, I am pleased to advise you of the achievement of the Municipal Law Enforcement Officer Certified designation by a member of your staff, Jasmine Govier, Bylaw Officer. And the request here is that I read this recognition at a council meeting. So congratulations to Jasmine, and I will ask our CAO, I will give this to you to post accordingly. Second thing is the county marathon occurred this past weekend. I want to thank Brian McLean, the organizer, for the orderly fashion in the way it was conducted. There were over 1,600 people that participated in the event who came throughout the weekend. 70% of them came from outside of Prince Edward County. And the economic impact has not been tallied at this point, but it was a terrific event for anybody that either participated or watched. And I've got two proclamations to mention, and a third I will read a little bit later in the agenda. October 15th is proclaimed as Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Day. And October 17th is proclaimed as International Day for the Eradication of Poverty. And a couple of other things, I'd like to welcome back our municipal clerk, Catalina Blumenberg, who's going to be working on the election, and we all got notification about that today from interim CAO Goheen. And I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and congratulations to the Blue Jays. So far. Correct. Okay, so that concludes that. We'll move on now to item 9, deputations, and we have one from Beth Lafay from Reaching for Rainbows. So come on up, and reminder of 10 minutes, and take your time. We're all anxious to hear what you've presented. We did get copies of the slide deck.
They're like
Over to you.
Yeah, there should be. Okay, good evening. My name is Beth Lafay, and I'm the Executive Director at Reaching for Rainbows, a not-for-profit and registered Canadian charity here in Prince Edward County. We are a no-cost, play-based after-school program for girls aged 6 to 12. We focus on developing relationships, building empowerment, and promoting a sense of belonging. We're also a licensed childcare center through the Ministry of Education. We have 15 girls in each junior and senior group that come to the program from Monday to Thursday. The bus drops them off at 3 p.m. and parents or guardians pick them up at 5 p.m. We have an open intake process that supports complex family situations that the girls in the community face. There's no doctor's note required for girls to enroll in our program. We do rely heavily on volunteers to provide mentorship and make sure ministry ratios are respected. We also provide a healthy snack based off the Canada Food Guide, and we do provide 30 minutes of outdoor play according to our ministry requirements. This is why Reaching for Rainbows is the perfect organization to bring together the community for International Day of the Girl Child. People often ask, why girls? Girls are disproportionately impacted by poverty and violence. So these tailored interventions, such as girl-focused programs, can make a big difference in their health and well-being, whether that be healthy relationships, learning, leadership, connection, or belonging. Often when I talk about this program in the community, women tell me that they wish they had a program like this when they were growing up. One of my board members told me that when he was growing up in the 90s in Prince Edward County, he used to go to the Boys and Girls Club, and that there were never any girls there because they were at home preparing dinner or driving their brothers to hockey. Adverse childhood experiences cause women to have shorter life expectancy. Why Prince Edward County? Why here? Rural communities struggle with access to supports. Vital Impact has been reporting for many years that 2 out of 5 preschoolers are vulnerable in one or more areas of early development. These statistics show the reflection for the need of prevention programming focused on healthy relationships for girls. The statistics are bearing. Reaching for Rainbows has a number of measurable impacts. We have hundreds of hours of direct program time, thousands of volunteer time, and 60% of the girls in this program come from single-parent families. These are what's captured in the measurable impacts. We're working with funders at United Way Hastings Prince Edward to capture the less tangible impacts. So often, when parents or guardians come to pick the girls up, they'll go hide in the playroom because they don't want to go home, because they feel safe at Reaching for Rainbows. And for every girl that we support at Reaching for Rainbows, 5 or more people are reached. Parents, siblings, extended family, and teachers are all impacted by this program. There's nothing else like it in the country. And I can tell you that the Canadian Women's Foundation has confirmed that, and it's our play-based approach. It takes a village to raise a child, and we are so lucky at Reaching for Rainbows to have all of these amazing community partners, not only that we work on projects with, but that are supporting International Day of the Girl Child, an event that we're putting on this Friday. Staff want to work at Reaching for Rainbows. They're attracted to this organization because of our mission. We have a number of qualified staff, and everybody is part-time. We range in our skill sets from ECE to SSW, and there's also folks that are skilled in trauma-informed support, de-escalation, and mental health. The girls in the program also age out eventually, and they come back to us when they're in high school, and they want to volunteer because of the impact that this organization has had on their lives. The Vital Impact Fund and the Municipal Community Fund allow for a year-round executive director to write grants and do fundraising. It's crucial for this organization. We're hoping that the Day of the Girl Child and these grants are able to leverage more donors and support for the program. Reaching for Rainbows aligns with both the Community Safety Wellbeing Plan and the municipality's strategic plan through a number of things like poverty reduction, bullying prevention, and Reaching for Rainbows really encompasses a community that cares. This program was started by a grassroots group of educators who saw a need and acted. Rainbows is a needs-based program that gives voices to girls. When young girls are supported, incredible things can happen. Since 2011, we have seen over 150 girls grow into empowered young women. Despite challenges through COVID-19, parent funding allowed us to reopen after the pandemic. And since then, we have increased our program days from being 3 to 4. We've worked with the bus company so that staff don't have to walk to the schools and walk back with the girls. And we've also introduced a number of programs that help the girls to explore their interests and build confidence. Reaching for Rainbows fills gaps. There's nowhere for girls in this age group to access gender-specific supports. There's also a 300-plus childcare waitlist within the community that Reaching for Rainbows reduces by 30 spots. We've also extended our age from being 6 to 9 to 6 to 12, and it's within our strategic plan to deliver programming in underserviced communities within Prince Edward County, such as Ameliasburg, Cherry Valley, and Wellington. We can only do this with more full-time, year-round staff. Parents love this program because they see improvements at home and in school with the girls. And the girls love this program because it's a safe place for them to go. And I'm gonna finish up by telling you a short story. There was a young lady, her name was Sabrina. She started the program when she was about 6, and she's seen her way through the program. She's been with us for 4 years now. And last year, when the girls came in after school off the bus, there was somebody that was missing when we were doing attendance. And everybody was saying that she went home sick. Sabrina had seen something happen on the schoolyard. This young lady who was missing got pushed up against a tree and choked out by 2 of her peers at recess. And nobody saw a thing except for Sabrina. Sorry. Sabrina told staff at Rainbows what happened, so we were able to call guardians and get the police involved. And if it weren't for Sabrina and her development through the program and having people at Rainbows that she trusts to tell that something happened to her friend on the schoolyard, that might have went unrecognized. And I'll tell you, Sabrina and this young lady don't play together, but Sabrina was looking out for her fellow Rainbows friend. So today I'm here to invite everybody to International Day of the Girl Child. It is on Friday, October 10th, located at the Andrew. We have a number of activities that are going to be happening. We've got speakers in the morning from 10 till 12, free lunch, thank you to Rotary, at noon, and workshops in the afternoon. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks very much for the presentation. I'm a big believer in the organization. It just does a wonderful job, and for anybody that's had an opportunity to go down and watch what goes on with those kids, it's absolutely amazing. Let's see if anybody has questions for you. Councillor Brandhurst.
Hi, thank you for sharing not only your presentation, but also the truth and stories of who is impacted and how they are impacted. That's incredible to hear. I just want a point of clarification, and it is I didn't see a time on your poster. Yeah. And are also little boys allowed to come for the day?
Absolutely. So the event is from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. It's kind of like split up based off activities. So speakers are 10 to 12. Lunch is from 12 till 1. And then we've also got like face painting, and County Kids Reads is giving out books and lunch. And then in the afternoon, we're doing workshops that our partners are putting on.
So if some of us have little kids, because it's a PA day.
Yes.
When would you suggest them to come? All day, or is there a specific time for kids, or where would you like us?
So everyone's welcome. All of the activities are age friendly, and yeah, they're for everybody. So if you have children that will sit through speakers, please come in the morning. We're going to have Ramona there from the PEC period party talking about her experience like starting up the PEC period party. And we also have some drummers and storytellers that are coming from Tyendinaga to participate as well. Yeah, so you can either come for the speakers, for the lunch, or for the workshops, or you can come for all.
Excellent, thank you for that. I think everybody listening appreciates to know exactly what's happening, so thanks.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to explain the schedule a bit.
Anybody else? No, okay, well, I've got. Oh, Councillor St. Jean.
Thank you, Your Worship. Not a question so much as just a statement of support. Beth, thank you very much for everything that you do for the young ladies in our community. The Reaching for Rainbows program certainly has become important to me, not because I have a daughter, because I don't, but as a member of the Picton Kinsman Club and one of the founding sponsors of the organization, I have been tremendously impressed with the services that you provide on such meager budget, and the fact that our community needs this program is, I guess that's a statement unto itself. But the fact that so many people have stepped forward, made donations, become volunteers, I think is a testament to the amount of work that you do and the good work that your organization does. So I just want to say thank you very much for everything that you do, and I know that you will be doing in the future.
Okay. Councillor Maynard.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to echo the thanks for what you do. Life certainly isn't getting any easier for young girls or women, so thank you. And I would be more than happy to try and find some volunteers and a location if you wanted to have something in a close to Kente, even on a small scale.
Kente was my public school, so I would love to be able to do that.
Yeah. Okay. We'll touch base maybe on Friday. Thanks.
Great.
Anyone else? No? Okay, I have a third proclamation that I'm going to read now. And this is concerning the first annual Day of the Girl Child in Prince Edward County, October 11th. Whereas the 13th Annual International Day of the Girl Child, observed on October 11th, recognizes girls' rights and the unique challenges they face globally. And whereas the 2025 theme is The Girl I Am, the Change I Lead, Girls on the Front Lines of Crisis, highlights empowerment, global relevance, and a girl-centered approach in times of crisis. And whereas this day draws attention to the need to address these challenges and promote girls' empowerment and the fulfillment of their human rights. And whereas every girl has a right to a safe, educated, and healthy life through childhood and into adulthood. And whereas when supported and educated girls have potential to transform the world as today's empowered youth and tomorrow's workers, entrepreneurs, leaders, and mothers. And whereas investing in girls' potential affirms their rights and builds a more equitable, prosperous future with girls as equal partners in solving global challenges, including climate change, conflict, economic development, disease prevention, and sustainability. Therefore, I, Steve Ferguson, Mayor of the Prince Edward County, officially recognize October 11th as the first annual Day of the Girl Child in the County of Prince Edward. So, thank you very much. Beth, can I have a mover and a seconder to receive the deputation, please? Councillor Branderhorst and Councillor Maynard.
This is a Branderhorst Maynard motion that the deputation by Beth Lafay, Executive Director of Reaching for Rainbows, regarding the Reaching for Rainbows program be received.
Thank you. Those in favor? And that carries. Move to comments from the audience now. Thank you very much, Beth.
Thank you.
And thank you for the other folks from Reaching for Rainbows who attended this evening. Go to comments from the audience. I've got one pre-registrant. Melissa Tram? Sorry? Yeah, you're now. Just a reminder, you've got 3 minutes.
So my comment is on item 11.1, talking about the reimbursement program for the County Food Hub's Recipe for Success program. I'm assuming everybody read that, so I'll just put it in a nutshell version. We did some focus groups with the Economic Development Office that showed us where some needs were in the community for small business, small food businesses in our area. We got some funding in partnership through the Agro Workforce Diversity and Equity Initiative, which has both federal and provincial backing behind it, to run essentially what is a boot camp for food entrepreneurs, everything from Business 101 and traceability and marketing and all that stuff for them. We had thought when we applied for this that with the municipality as a partner, they could pay the bills and then get reimbursed. That was a misunderstanding on my part. That we have to show, like, from our bank statements that it came out of the County Food Hub account, and we just don't have that money sitting in our account right now. So the request is that we set up a reimbursement agreement where we have some funds from the Economic Development Office move to our bank account to get this program rolling, and then we pay it all back.
Okay. Any questions from members of council? No, we're getting onto this item imminently.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to make a comment at all? No. Can I have a mover and a seconder to receive? Councillor Prince and Councillor Nyman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Prince and Nyman motion we receive the comment from the audience on tonight's agenda item.
Thank you. Those in favor? And that carries. So we'll go on now to item 11.1 concerning the support for the County Food Hub. Let's have a mover and a seconder put this on the floor, please. Councillor Prinzen, seconded by Councillor Pennell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Prince and Pennell motion that report CSP-19-2025 regarding funding support for the County Food Hub be received. 2, that staff be directed to develop a reimbursement financial agreement valued at $40,000 with the County Food Hub to support projects funded through the Agricultural Workforce Equity and Diversity Initiative program. And 3, that a bylaw to execute the reimbursement financial agreement with the County Food Hub to support projects funded by the Agriculture Workforce Equity and Diversity Initiative program be brought forward for enactment at the next feasible council meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. We've got staff members here. Do you want to provide any comments?
I mean, in the interest of time, because the game does start in 30 minutes, I will just say, as Melissa noted, this is not a grant. It is a funding arrangement to reimburse the county that $40,000. Melissa has sort of planned it out, and we'll be using it until probably about May 2026, at which time, by the time all the paperwork is done, it should come back to the municipality. And at the end of the day, we'll have some new equipment there that can make the manufacturing process a little more efficient, and a 12-week incubator program to help new entrepreneurs get a start, which I think has been a little bit of a missing ingredient from the program. So that's right in a nutshell.
Okay. Any questions concerning this item? Anybody? Councillor St. Jean.
Once again, Your Worship, not a question for Karen. I think everyone is aware that Councillor Roberts, who has been a huge supporter of the County Food Hub program, has he's asked me to read a brief statement, very, very brief. So I'd like to take that opportunity right now to say that on his behalf. Bill is stating, that Councillor Roberts is stating that he'd like to express his strong support for this very innovative and exciting next step for our county food hub. As you might recall, we created the county food hub to both save a valuable rural public school and help eliminate rising food insecurity in our municipality. Well, since then, student enrollment at Sophiasburg Central School has been on the rise ever since. The CFB has proven to be a reliable, resilient, and effective partner in tackling Prince Edward County's food insecurity crisis. Its very successful partnership with our Prince Edward Learning Center is a good example. Now, the County Food Hub is taking the next logical step, bringing training, entrepreneurship, new skills development, employment opportunity, valuable new food infrastructure, and overall economic growth to the table. This well-designed partnership with the county is precisely what we need, and I hope that as council we can collectively encourage and support both our County Food Hub's impressive track record and this creative, renewed vision. And on my behalf, I would just like to say that I think this is how economic development works. This is how partnerships and communities work. So I wholeheartedly agree. I hope majority of council will support this program. I think it's balanced. And I also believe that this is a good way to help an organization to receive funding. And we already know they've been approved. They just need some minor assistance, more on the. So anyways, I'd just like to say, so on behalf of Councillor Roberts, I've read his notes, and I wholeheartedly agree, and I hope the rest of council does as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? No, I'll call the vote. Those in favor, please. And that carries. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Melissa. And congratulations. Okay, now we'll move to item 11.2 concerning the schedule of meetings. Can I have a mover and a seconder for this, please? Let's put it on the floor. Councillor Prinson, Councillor Pennell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's a Prince and Pennell motion that report CLS-30-2025 regarding the proposed schedule of meetings for 2026 be received. 2, that the rules of procedure bylaw 16-2022 as amended be waived to approve the council and committee meeting schedule for the 2026 calendar year, shown on the agenda as attachment 1, and 3, that the 2026 statutory and advisory boards and committees meeting schedule, shown as attachment 2, be approved.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, do you have anything you want to, any information you want to provide concerning your report?
Thank you. I will also be brief. This is an annual report, comes to you every year about this time, setting up the meetings for advisory committees and council and committees for the next year. It follows the same rules as other years in the procedure bylaw. We've got 2 council meetings a month, we've got 2 committee of the wholes, and 1 planning meeting. What's a little bit different this year is we're going into an election year. So there are reluctantly 1 council meeting or 2 council meetings scheduled for September and 1 committee of the whole, although we're hoping that they will be for, urgent issues only that cannot wait until after the election, and we're hoping for small agendas. The advisory committees reports or meetings are scheduled in accordance with their terms of reference. Again, we have them finishing off towards the end of June. There's a few that are scheduled after that, but basically they are close to finished at the end of June. I will point out, however, that special meetings can be called either by the chair of an advisory committee or by the mayor, should it be needed. And the other thing that you will notice is we did not schedule any budget meetings for next year, waiting to see how the schedule will work with the new council.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Victoria. Councillor Nyman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and just maybe a quick comment, or I don't know if it's a question, but to me, the only problem I have is that in there it says the council and committee meetings will be bi-weekly. But before, it used to be every second and fourth Tuesday and Thursday of the month. So in 10 years' time, you knew exactly when your meeting was. But now, you know, lately, the meetings are just, it seems helter-skelter a little bit. So I guess, you know, I haven't supported the change in the meetings since this was coming, so I won't be supporting this one either, based on, you know, I think it should be a little more simple. Council meetings are second Tuesdays of the month, committee of the whole fourth Tuesdays, planning is the third Wednesday of the month. It don't get any simpler than that. You know 20 years down the road when you're gonna have the meetings, so.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Branderhorst.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'm curious on just calendar and our agendas and our upcoming meetings. I see that traditionally on the 22nd is our last council meeting in September, correct? As until the election. What happens in that time period? Because I believe that we're kind of off duty during the election time. What happens if, like, for example, I know my rec committee tends to schedule their first meeting in the first Wednesday of the month. So do we just say, sorry, we can't show up because of we're running? Or like what happens if we are like our committees have a scheduled meeting during that time period?
Through you, Mr. Chair, rec committees are not scheduled on here. These are just advisory committees.
Right, I guess.
So your rec committees kind of operate separately.
So they are completely different.
Yes.
They're a completely different beast.
That's right. And,
okay.
you know, basically the reason that there are no meetings in October is because we are busy preparing for the election.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that.
Okay, anybody else? Councilor Pennell?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Councilor Nyman on this, and it seems like almost like we're headed for throw everything up in the air and where it lands. Because standard meetings and times of the month, I think it's clear for councilors, a lot clearer, but also for the public who wants to take part in it. Further to that, I would like to see consideration as we move ahead on the amount of closed session meetings that we have. I believe there's a lot of stuff that has to be done in closed. I also believe there's a lot of things that go on that shouldn't be enclosed. And I would like to, as we move ahead, see a committee set up to really take a look at closed sessions and what needs to be and what doesn't need to be. And I think the public is looking for that as well. So I don't know how you go about that, but it's something I would definitely like to see.
Okay, thank you. I think there are prescribed rules under which we can go into closed. And the CAO and I have talked about this, and you'll notice we start at 7 o'clock tonight. So, okay, other questions? Nobody? Okay, call the vote. All those in favor, please. And that carries. Okay, thank you. Now on to 11.3 concerning the routine disclosure and dissemination policy. Mover or seconder to put this on the floor, please. Councillor Prinson and Councillor Pennell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's a Prince Pennell motion that report CLS-31-2025 regarding an update to the routine disclosure and active dissemination policy be received, and 2, that the changes to the policy be identified within the report and included in attachment A be adopted.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, have you got anything you'd like to add to the report?
Thank you. Through the chair. Just wanted to say that this policy is used widely by all departments. It's important to us that we have a really good guideline as to what to release and routine disclosure. The report itself was a collaboration between a number of departments and a number of staff as we looked at the impacts of how we're utilizing this policy. We actually determined that there were 3 areas that we needed to make some changes to. The first one was just ease of updating Appendix 1, and that's the list of the record series that are identified as available for routine disclosure. Sometimes we have a new record series, or we realize that there's a lot of requests for something from the public, and it's not listed on there, so it should be added in. We're recommending that that section or that appendix be updated by the CAO and directors as required in consultation with the clerk, so that we don't have to come back to council every time we want to update that appendix. The second part we looked at was around the language of fees and charges. The current policy said that departments are encouraged to include fees and charges in the fees and charges bylaw at their own discretion. We felt it was better that if we just had a uniform approach across the organization. So you will see at your meeting on Thursday with fees and charges bylaw that there's a new category in there for routine disclosure. And it is in accordance with the prescribed fees that are in MFIPA, Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy, so that we're consistent with the prescribed fees in that. The kind of requests that could trigger a fee, because most of them will not, but something that would be using up a lot of staff time. And one example is, and luckily we haven't had too many lately, but we had quite a rush of them at one point, is people maybe doing family research or looking into their family tree or trying to find historical information. We would have to send 2 staff over to the county courthouse, sometimes for hours, looking through old records, for one individual. So that's the kind of thing that would normally trigger a fee. The last piece that we wanted to do some work around was on frivolous and vexatious requests. The current policy did include a clause that said that such requests could be refused, but we had no definition to say what is a frivolous and vexatious request. So we've included, after looking at what other municipalities have been doing and getting some information from other best practices, we've included a definition for frivolous and vexatious requests. Many municipalities, including the county, has seen, unfortunately, a growing trend in increasing numbers of requests like this that take a great deal of staff time. And we just needed a way to deal with it in a very fair and consistent manner. It should be noticed, however, that a request that has been denied under this policy would require approval by the CAO and the director and in consultation with the clerk. So many eyes would look at it. And that requester, should that happen, still has the opportunity to file a formal request under MFIPA. So there's still a way out for that. So that's my summary, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Victoria. Councillor Grosso, is that a hand up or is that just a drum? It's a drum, okay. Councillor Nyman?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just what is the charge if somebody, if we're going to charge somebody, what is the charge? I think it's the time that for that person or a couple people to do that work, is it, or is it a set fee?
No, it's the prescribed fee under MFIPA is $7.50 for 15 minutes. So $30. It's partial cost recovery. It's not full cost recovery.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, please. And that carries. Okay, so we'll move now to item 11.4. I'll hand this over to Councillor Brainy. Put it on the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll be very brief too. I have a couple of tweaks to the motion that's in the agenda, I talked to our clerk and I just said, I think it's so small, I didn't want her to have to resend an agenda, but I will read out to the motion. If I could speak to it briefly, Mr. Mayor, just after it, be appreciated. The motion is, whereas the nation, the province, and the county are facing increasingly complex economic challenges, and whereas communications, cooperation, and collaboration across community groups and organizations can serve to foster a coordinated approach to meeting these challenges, and whereas collaboration is highlighted as a pillar of the municipality's economic development action plan, now therefore it be resolved that staff be directed to report with the terms of reference for an economic development working group to serve as a forum for sharing information, aligning efforts, and identifying opportunities to strengthen the local economy through coordinated action. And if I could just speak briefly to it, it's like other motions in the past, I would have spoken more to it. I think this is very self-explanatory. But I would like to thank Director Cowan, Karen Palmer, Duarte De Silva from the Chamber of Commerce, and our clerk Victoria Lesky for meeting with me to put the wording together on this. And I look forward to the terms of reference that will come forward. Some of the community groups that I did mention when I gave introduction to this are quite excited about it. I think we all are too. And I do think it's one of these scenarios that's really, it's not going to cost the municipality anything. But I do believe the collaboration and sort of the thought behind it that could certainly bear a lot of good fruit for the municipality in the future. And that's all I have to say about it.
Okay, have you got a seconder? Councillor Branderhorst, seconder. Okay. Any questions? Councillor Hirsch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I'm not sure that I'm in favor of proceeding with this. This sounds very much like the old CEDC, the Economic Development Commission, which we abandoned at the beginning of this term of council. That existed for many years with many of the same players as Councillor Brainy has listed here. And frankly, it accomplished pretty much nothing, and that's why we decided not to proceed with it in this term of council. So if that's just reactivating that group, I just don't see the necessity of setting up yet another group. We have an economic development officer who I'm sure is in contact with all of these individuals on a regular basis, and I think that should suffice as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Councillor Harrison.
Yes, I'm certainly going to support this motion because primarily of the times we're in. And I think it's, if nothing else, it's an opportunity to try to keep the county fairly nimble in being able to react to a lot of economic uncertainty that's going on. And I don't think it would hurt at all for them to be weighing in on things as some of these tariffs, et cetera, affect local businesses. We will be able to have maybe a bit of a voice in that.
Okay. Anybody else want to respond?
Yeah, I appreciate Councillor Hirsch's comments, and thank you, Councillor Harrison, for supporting the intent. I guess my thought behind it, I certainly wasn't involved with the CDC scenario, but I firmly believe that just giving up isn't an answer. I think there's always opportunity. I think you try different ideas, you have different people, different players around the table. I kind of look at an example being our County 49 task team. When we put that together, there were a lot of naysayers around the table that said this has been tried before. Well, look at all the great fruit that's bearing right now, and look how close we are to the finish line of having that completed. I see the same with this. I don't want to give up on this. It's important. We're dealing with economic factors, Councillor Hirsch, that we didn't deal with when the CDC was operating, and the organizations that we've asked to be around this table and our staff and myself are very excited about the concept and the support that it's going to give the municipality and our staff.
Okay. Question, Councillor Grasso?
Not so much a question, just a statement. Yeah, these are different times than 3.5 or 4 years ago, and I would support this.
Okay. Anybody else? Councillor Maynard?
Yep. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so as a working group, I just, so the intent then would to use minimal staff time and resources and really make a nice forum for the listed groups to get together and discuss issues. And is that the intent? I just
Is that
just
a
curious
question?
on the staff time and resources that would be required.
Is that a question?
Yes.
Oh,
If-
okay.
If Councillor Brainy can, right? Like we're starting off with the terms of reference, which will take, some time. But I'm just wondering if this is really, as a working group, and I understand the importance of a forum for the listed groups to get together and brainstorm, right, and see what they can, what they might be able to come up with. But I guess it's just a question of the staff time and resources.
Okay, well, let me ask this question. What's the expectation for the timeline for the terms of reference? Didn't specify any.
I certainly don't want to rush staff into,
Okay.
It's certainly when
When feasible.
when they feel it's feasible, yeah.
Okay, when feasible. That's fine.
If
Karen?
I'm okay to answer, I'm back in front of you on October 23rd, so my intention is to come back with terms of reference then.
What was that date?
October 23rd,
October, Committee of the Whole.
Committee of the Whole.
Okay. All right, we'll see it then. Okay, I don't see any more questions. Councillor St. Jean.
Thank you, Your Worship. First of all, thank you, Councillor Brainy, for changing some of the language in the motion, because I shared a number of the concerns that Councillor Hirsch has. The CEDC in its format, and that's kind of what I was reading when I saw the motion in the agenda package a few days ago. And I looked at it and I went, well, CDC was created in November of 2012. It lasted 13 years and it achieved absolutely nothing. So I was extremely concerned, I'll say that we would be trying to replicate a model that clearly didn't work for a number of reasons. And yes, I agree with you that, these are different times. I'll just leave it at that. These are different times. I'm not comfortable overall creating a brand new committee that deals with economic development, because I really do think that economic development is a long game. It's a long range plan, requires a lot of effort. There are no instant wins. So when you start to change things in the middle of the game, you can lose the game in worse ways than you are at the beginning of the game, So I'm looking forward to seeing what the terms of reference for a working group will look like. So I'm willing to support this motion to at least get a look at that. But I'm going to reserve my judgment. I would also like to make one strong suggestion that in the list of the potential working group partners, whatever you want to call them, you're missing the single largest business association in Prince Edward County, and that is Picton BIA representative. So I would like to, if we get to that point, I would like to have it known that or certainly request that they be included, because once again, it is the single largest business association in the county, representing the widest range of businesses. And I think we need to hear their voice at this table, if it comes to fruition. Just a suggestion.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Brainy.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson.
Bless you.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Councillor St. Jean. As a matter of fact, in our meeting with Karen, Emily, myself, and DeWart, they were highlighted as a huge player to sit around that table. So you're definitely going to see that. And let's just wait for the terms of reference. I think we'll see the list of the players that we plan on having around the table. But they're definitely, I agree with you, they'd make a big impact. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any more questions? All those in favor? And that carries. Okay. Now we'll go to 11.5, and I'll hand this over to Councillor Pennell to put it on the floor.
Okay, first of all, I'm just gonna read it. Whereas increases into the 2026 operating budget are anticipated, and whereas council must use creative thinking to reduce spending, cut costs, and protect the finances of the county. Now therefore be it resolved that Mayor Ferguson be directed to call a special council meeting for the sole purpose at looking at opportunities to decrease municipal spending and costs in advance of 2026 budget process.
Okay.
The reason why
Go ahead.
The reason why I'm bringing this forward, as everyone around the horseshoe and at home knows, we are headed into severe budget restraints as we move ahead. We cannot keep going down the same rabbit hole we've been going. And I feel it's time that we got the public involved. We've got to start thinking out of the box. But as well, it's not only the public. A lot of these ideas should be coming from councillors as well. I haven't heard anybody come forward with a list of things that might think out of the box that we might be able to save a dollar. We're all about spending money. I think it's time we started saving money, and if I could get a seconder, Councillor Brainy, I would also ask for a recorded vote because I feel it's important for every taxpayer in the county to see where we stand. Are we willing to try and save money, if at all possible? So I'll go by a recorded vote.
Okay, questions for Councillor Pennell. Councillor Brainy.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. I'm happy to support Councillor Pennell's motion. I understand the intent, and I guess where I'm thinking too, any opportunity that we can have an opportunity to discuss the issues and some of the topics that I believe that I think it has merit, especially we're creeping up the budget. Why not have a good, frank conversation about strategy and ways that we could potentially find scenarios that could very well benefit. I don't think we're going to find that unless, I'm confident that we're all looking that direction, but I think to have a specific discussion about it amongst ourselves is certainly a healthy approach, so I'm happy to support it.
All right. Councillor Nyman, then Councillor Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick question. I don't know who's going to be able to answer it, but what's the timeline for this meeting? So I guess the budget's is first week of December, so I guess we need to know when's it got to happen. If it passes, got to happen fairly soon. I don't know who can answer that, but.
Well, I guess I can, after I look at my schedule. It won't be in the next 2 weeks, I don't think. He asked me to come up with a date, so I'll have to arrange it with Joy and advise council accordingly, if it passes.
Thank you.
Mrs. CAO?
Thank you, Your Worship. Just perhaps in the spirit of some clarity, and we have Director McNichol on the line as well. The question I would have is in relation to the release of the budget package. would we want to have this meeting before that or between the release of the package and the meetings? That to me would be something that we'd like to know.
Okay, over to you, Councillor Pennell.
Prior to. And I know it's a tight line, but if we don't get our act together, this municipality will be broke down the road, to put it quite simply.
Okay. I mean, we are 6 weeks, give or take, from the first budget meeting. Do you see any threat to that?
Your Worship, and I think we probably should ask Director McNichol to weigh in on this, but the concern I would have, again, we are working feverishly and having budget meetings for the next several weeks with all the different departments to integrate the feedback that would come out of this, may be problematic for being ready for the budget meetings in December. Again, depending on what substantive analysis needs to be done, whatever the conversation leads to in terms of workload, I want to make sure we can have the time to integrate that into the budget, or if council wishes, wait and have those conversations at budget. But it doesn't allow us to be as agile if we have to do a lot of work to be able to put a dollar figure to whatever suggestions come up in this proposed meeting.
Okay, well, and the budget's been worked on since what, July?
Correct.
So, okay. Councillor Hirsch?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I find the timing of this is just not going to work. It might have been a good idea some time ago, but we've already had a process of public input through this cycle for the budget, a better one even than was done last year. We have some views from the public, certainly. Staff is, of course, working diligently to cut wherever possible. That's what we ask them to do every year. In terms of providing them with ideas, I do that all the time personally. I don't know what other councillors do, but I certainly don't hold back with any suggestions for cost saving. I just find that to throw another meeting into the mix at this point would probably not be productive. Thank you.
Okay, who else we got? Councillor Harrison, then Councillor Maynard.
Yes, one comment, I guess more than anything, Adam, is when we get into budget, we're all focused with the spotlight on the increase. And I'd like in the deliberations with your staff, another spotlight put there, and that's a focus on the debt side, how that impacts the debt. Because I think in some cases we've been trying to perhaps keep the increase down, but at the expense of the debt on the bottom line. In other words, we're sort of spending on the credit card there, and I'd like that to have more focus than we've ever had before on that.
Adam?
Just a comment, and through you, Your Worship, and thank you for that comment. I know that, again, Director McNichol could speak more to this, but we're integrating the GFOA, Government Financial Officers Association, best practices with our budgeting. And so I'm sure we're going to have plenty of conversation with the Director about our debt levels, as well as our reserve and reserve balances as well. So we're trying to set ourselves up for success financially. So I fully expect we'll have those conversations. Thank you for your comments, Councillor.
Thank you.
Councillor Maynard?
Thank you. I guess I will say, I mean, we have had public input, and we're getting pretty close to budget. I mean, there's always typically at the first of the budget time for some input, but I will kind of echo Councillor Harrison's concern. Right? We've now had a look at an asset management plan, and I mean, every year we have to put money into reserves, and we have really failed to do that sufficiently. So we're kind of digging a hole deeper. I mean, during the budget process, we may come across, some things where we can save some money. But I mean, we have had pre-budget input, and there'll be a chance again, typically at the beginning of the budget process, for some public comment. And I just see this as this is an extra meeting that I really don't know how how it will really change things at this point, right? We're this far into the budget process already, and I won't be supporting this because I don't think it's productive.
Councillor Nyman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I guess this question is for Adam. So you kind of asked the question, do we want the meeting before or after we receive the package? So I guess the question is, what's the preference of you or staff, and how's that going to, if we wait till we get the package, do we have that meeting before we have the budget meeting? So you have a pre-meeting before you have the big meeting, or do you have that big meeting as on the second day once you're into it and figure out where we are with the budget? Do you know what I mean?
Through your worship, yes, and I mean perhaps we could defer to Director McNichol as to what his opinion is of whether it's before or after. I mean, obviously, once that budget is published, it does free us up to work on analysis of whatever comes out of this report. We have to put numbers to whatever is recommended, or also sometimes there are capital impacts that have operating impacts, and it's not necessarily as simple as just calculating a number and taking it off the budget. So we would need some time to analyze, but perhaps that is a question, Your Worship, through you to Director McNichol.
Okay. Aaron?
Through your worship, to members of council, good evening. I would say, just to give council an update on where we're at with regards to the budget process, that we are quite deep into the 2026 budget development. We've closed our Questica budgeting software. Our capital program is just currently being finalized and will be finalized this Thursday. Staff have been meeting with the CAO, and these meetings are actually fairly close to complete. The budget binder and presentation are currently being worked on, all with the intent of a full package going out to council mid-November ahead of the December 1st presentation and December 2nd and 3rd workshops. So my only concern here is that, respectfully, is the timelines. If we have a meeting either before the budget binder goes out, is that we take the public's consideration and council's considerations and then basically reformat the budget. That's my only concern, is maybe it wouldn't carry the same weight if the intent is to have it completed in mid-January. So it would be a little bit of a rush for sure to have the meetings and then incorporate what was generated during the meetings before the December 1st presentation. Certainly we could do it afterwards, but again, we'd have to incorporate everything that was discussed in that meeting from the public's perspective and council's perspective, and then incorporate that back into the budget. So from a timeline perspective, it is quite tight.
Okay. Go ahead, Adam.
Thank you, Your Worship. Council should be aware that you also have the opportunity, you have access to the department heads. So it might be more comfortable for some members of council to schedule meetings directly with those department heads and discuss your ideas with them. And then we can bring that back at budget. I mean, we certainly do welcome the feedback. And if the intent here was to have that discussion on the table here amongst councillors, then certainly we can make the directors available for those more intimate conversations about potential cost savings or service changes.
Okay, just let me ask this question about we've got on Thursday the asset management plans coming forward. So if council wants to proceed with this meeting, the basis of discussion as asset management plan has effectively been discussed and effectively agreed to, we're going to be dealing primarily with operational issues, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, we've spent several months discussing service levels on the capital side for the asset management plan. What I envision this is our potential savings on the operating budget side. Yes, you're correct.
Right, okay. Councilor Brainy?
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Yeah, I definitely it's a nice thing with these motions. Sometimes when you get to hear the perspectives, I think what Director or CEO Goheen and Director McNichol had to say, I would agree with that. I guess I'm trying to assist Councillor Pennell because I understand the intent, and I think what he believes and what he's passionate about is very worthy. So I would just ask Councillor Pennell, or would you be okay, based on the advice that we've had and just sort of timelines? I would be comfortable with that. I feel confident, Councillor Pennell, that we're going to be able to have a conversation and the intent that what you're looking for. So I would find that satisfactory. Hopefully you do too.
Conversation, you mean either with the department heads or at the actual budget meetings? Okay. Councillor Pennell?
Can I respond to that? I see what everybody is saying, but when I sit around and I hear some people, well, it's too late to do nothing. We've had a year. I brought it up last fall. Nothing happened. It seems like when it comes to saving money, we want to do nothing. I've heard some councillors say, well, I brought up ideas. I sure as heck haven't heard them. And what I would suggest, if we're going to do that, if each one of us picked 4 or 5 things that we submitted, or we could save $1 for the taxpayer, that we do that. It's easy enough to sit around the table and say, well, I've suggested this, or I've suggested that. I haven't saw none of those suggestions come forward where people could look at. Maybe if everybody put in something, we all have a look at it, you move into budget. But to do nothing for the last year towards saving 5 cents in this county is ridiculous on us as a council, I believe. And I only speak for myself. But I know in Ameliasburg, there's a lot of people that are pretty, off, that we really haven't looked at anything towards trying to save $1, but we aren't long making a choice to spend money. And all I'm saying is that if everybody was willing to put in some ideas, and we could all look at them, maybe there's nothing that comes forward. If there isn't, there isn't. But if there's one idea that saves $1 for the taxpayer, we should be looking at it.
Go ahead.
It just occurs to me, Your Worship, through you, the budget in December, the 2 days are the working session format that we've used in other things, and they do allow for a far more informal discussion on these things. And I'd also add that Director McNichol and his team are working on, and as well as Director Cowan and the communications team are working on plain language, simple format to the budget. So we're all looking forward to having more simple, plain language conversations about services and the costs that go along with them. So I'm confident, Your Worship, that this budget year will be different than the previous years, and we'll be able to have some frank conversations in a more informal session with all the department heads and the managers that spend the money. We take it seriously as well, the money that we're given to spend, and so we're looking forward to having that conversation in December.
No, well, I know it's going to be a somewhat simplified process, which is welcome news to everybody, I think. But I certainly understand where Councillor Pennell is coming from. But as long as we can have, during the budget sessions, those free and open conversations to enable members of council to, or if the public, want to make comments, to consider whatever those comments are from members of council, because we also have to remember that council is not experts in terms of the operational impacts of what we may suggest is something that could save money. And we need to understand that coming back from the staff, so we don't shoot ourselves in the foot. So as long as we can move on that basis, and Aaron, I know you want to keep this, you know, kind of simple for people that are not, well, not accountants. So that would be a worthwhile endeavor. Councillor Maynard, and then Councillor Hirsch.
Thank you. Well, just looking at the motion or at the resolution, right? It's asking to hold a meeting to gather public input, which I think we're now maybe, other than what would typically come at the first of a budget session. And I think we've kind of worked through that process to some degree, and you know, I think most people would consider me frugal. I've got a partner that might say cheap, you know, so there's a difference between saving money and prioritizing your spending. I think that is when we get into budget, that those are the things that those are the tough decisions, how we prioritize our spending. But to have a public meeting at this late date, and when we've already kind of gone through the process, is why I cannot and will not support this resolution. Because I think staff have told us that, you know, how they intend to handle it, and that the door is open. And I would say that the door is also open for members of the public to make comments of where they would like for us to prioritize our spending.
Mr. Mayor, I respectfully withdraw the motion.
Okay, so we'll end the discussion about it then. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. But the points you brought up are well-founded. And I would suggest that next year, earlier in the year, perhaps bring this up again. Where are you going to be? It's the last year of our term. Okay. Okay. All right. Doesn't matter. We're moving on from this.
And that question would be this: if we, as councillors, try to deal with a department head or heads on issues, what process is there to make sure that it doesn't dead end there, that somehow then those comments are brought forward at budget for discussion, because there could be the ball could be dropped there.
Your Worship, I would say I would use my immense authority to direct staff to bring that forward at budget, so we can have a discussion about that. So any discussions that are had with senior staff about potential opportunities for savings should be recorded and brought forward at budget time.
Okay, thank you. So we're through that item. We're moving on to items for consent, and thank you very much for doing that, Council Panel. If we can have a mover and a seconder. We've got 8 items on here. Move to consent agenda. Is there anything anybody wants to pull, first of all? Seeing none, Councillor Prinzen, you want to make a motion, seconded by Councillor Branderhorst.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's a Prinzen Branderhorst motion that the following items, being 12.1 to 12.8 on tonight's agenda, get approved by consent.
Thank you. Those in favor? And that carries. Okay. No bylaws for consideration. Confirmatory bylaw. Mover and the seconder, please. Councillor Prinzen, Councillor Branderhorst.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's a Prinzen Branderhorst motion that bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the County of Prince Edward at the meeting held October 7, 2025.
Thank you. Those in favor? And that carries. And the motion to watch the baseball game, Councillor Prinzen and Councillor Branderhorst.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's Prinzen Branderhorst motion that this meeting now adjourn at 8:19 and everybody can watch the Blue Jays.
Those in favor?
It's 2-0 Toronto, halfway through the first.
2-0 Toronto? First? That guy's name.
I went through it and glad you got over it. It was all with you, Rod.